Hi everyone, I'm Melanie Kenny from Kenny Collection. Today I'll be sharing with you guys how I make these 3D chocolate frog tumblers. They're so adorable. This design has been incredibly popular and I hope that it goes on to inspire other makers to venture into 3D tumbler art. And I hope you guys enjoy.
This is the tumbler and the sculpting tools that I'll be using for this design. This is a 12-ounce coffee mug, and I usually like doing the frogs on the side, the logo on the front, and drips coming from the top all around the cup. The first thing we're going to do is roll a almost ping pong ball sized shape of clay into a little ball, and once it's smooth, we're going to put it on the side of the cup with the palm of your hand. You don't want to press this on there too much because we don't want it flat. We want it to still have like sort of a dome shape. And we're going to shape it more like an oval than a circle. Once you've got that nice plump oval shape, you're going to score the center of the frog. And along that score line with your ball tool, you're just going to run it up and down to create a nice little crease there. Now this is going to make your center ridge. And if you like to make two, you just do this twice. But I only do one ridge. So we're going to do that same rolling the ball tool on it on both sides of the score line. Once you've got that ridge formed in the center, you're going to just smooth out the side ridges that formed so that only the center one remains. And go ahead and just smooth it out on both sides. Once you've completed that, you're going to roll another smaller ball for the head. We're going to get this nice and smooth. Then you're going to make this almost like rounded pyramid-like shape on the head by smoothing out four sides of it, making sure to keep one end wider than the other. And place it right there at the top of the body. Once that's secure on there, you can make some little adjustments for the shape of the head and go ahead and start smoothing it out so it blends in with the body. Now it's time for the arms, and we're going to start off by rolling out two more small balls of clay. And you want to make sure while rolling it out that you get a size that's proportionate to the body and also equal in width to the other arm. Now once you have them rolled out, you're just going to attach them to the shoulder of the frog by lightly pressing into it and curving it up. When you've got that on there, you're just going to trim off anything above where your frog's wrist will go. And then you can begin smoothing the arm onto the body of the frog. When that's complete, you'll do the same with the other arm. Lightly press it on there and curve it. After you've smoothed and trimmed everything off, you're just going to clean up the edges where you trimmed by squeezing the end together a bit and just smoothing it down. So you want a rounded end on both of the arms. The next step here is adding your legs. So we're going to slightly flatten out the end of a long strand of clay and add it to where the butt of the frog will be. Now we're going to bring that up along the side of the frog and then curve it backwards to create that knee there. And then we're also going to pinch this bottom area here a little further down from the knee to create the other bend in the frog's leg. And chop off the excess. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Flatten out that little end there. Attach it to the butt and then curve it and pinch it twice to make the bends in the legs. You also want to do the ends the same way you did the arms by just smoothing them and rounding them out. Once that's completed, you're going to smooth out the flattened part of the legs onto the back of the frog. Once completed, you'll make indentations on the tips of where the feet will go, as well as the hands. You'll need 12 small balls of clay for all of the toes on the hands and feet. Once you've got 12 made, you can go ahead and start rolling them out individually. For this, you're going to roll it with more pressure on one side than the other because we want sort of a bulbous end on the tip of their fingers. After rolling out the first 3, you can attach the thinner ends of them all together. And then carefully place them onto the indentation that you made. Smooth out the top there. And then go back in and smooth out the sides so that they blend seamlessly into the legs and arms. You'll repeat this for the remaining toes that will be going on the other foot and arms. The last part of sculpting the frog will be adding the eyes. So you'll roll some very tiny little bits of clay and set them to the side. Using your small ball tool, you'll make a small indentation on either side of the head, making sure that they're directly across from each other, and place your little balls into that indentation. Make sure not to press too hard here because we don't want to flatten out the eyes either. And there's your fully sculpted frog. The final touch before baking will be rubbing some alcohol all over the frog. This just gets rid of small things like fingerprints and little tiny imperfections. Once baked per the instructions on the specific brand of clay that you have, you'll need to finish this off by painting it. Depending on what paint you have, you might need multiple layers of paint. For this one, I usually do 3 to 4 coats of paint, waiting for it to dry in between for full coverage on the frog. After completely painting, you can start off with another fully prepped blank by painting it white, then pink, and cover it in your favorite Opal Glitter. And then it should come out looking like this. You'll then cut out 8 stripes of both green and white vinyl, 1/4 inch for the green and 1/8 of an inch for the white. So here we're going to make kind of like a cross pattern with the green stripes of vinyl. Start off on one side, place your vinyl, and then on the other side, directly across from that piece, we're going to place the second one. For the next, we're going to go halfway in between both of the first stripes, and then another one directly across from that. The remaining 4 will be centered in between each of the stripes that are already on the cup. Then we're going to go in with our white. You'll place a white stripe on either side of the first green stripe, whichever one you choose, and then continue to do so for every other green stripe. You could add a logo to the front if you'd like, but for this video, I just did a simple word in a cute pink vinyl with an opal offset. I placed it on there with the transfer paper and backing still on, and then I'm going to trim where the green piece of vinyl is behind it on the top and bottom of the word. Then I'm going to remove the decal with the backing and remove the bit of green vinyl that we cut from the top and bottom of the word. Remove the vinyl from the backing and apply it to the cup. Now we'll take a small craft spatula and place it under the toes on the hands and feet of the frog and gently nudge them up until they release from the tumbler. Lastly, you'll want to remove the main portion of the frog from the tumbler. And I have a little toe here that fell off, which is fine. We'll just glue that right back on. But you might end up with these little paint bits from the tumbler on your frog. And you can go ahead and take a small craft knife and just slice that right off. Here I'm doing some touch-up paint all around the frog, mainly the bottom portion where the paintbrush couldn't get while it was sitting on the tumbler, just to make sure that any white spots won't show when it's actually on the tumbler. And here we're just going to place a little glue dot once the paint is all dry and attach that little toe right back on there. Apply a little bit of paint so that the glue does not shine over the paint. And then we're going to apply some glue to the bottom of the frog on all the places where it meets the tumbler. You'll then place it on the cup in the same area where you sculpted it. Adjust as needed and just press down slightly while it's drying to make sure all the little toes stay put. And there you go, you now have a 3D tumbler. Onto the drip portion, you're just going to mix epoxy with some paint and let it sit for about 40 minutes until it's like an almost taffy consistency. I'm just going to scoop that right out of that cup there. Roll it onto my popsicle stick. And smear it all around the top rim of the tumbler. And you can go ahead and add a bit more wherever you feel like it's needed. Then we're going to hit it with the heat gun for a few seconds all around the top. And this softens it up a bit so that it drips nicely, and it also eliminates any bubbles that might be on the surface there. Touch up any areas where the rim isn't covered with a small silicone brush. Now onto the sprinkles. We are going to add them one by one onto the cup. I like spreading them out somewhat evenly, but having them face all sorts of different directions, and make sure there is a decent assortment of colors within view. For the smaller sprinkles, I dipped the tip of this tool into some tacky epoxy just so that the beads would stick to it, and then applied them randomly throughout the regular sprinkles. And there you have it. So now you'll just epoxy the tumbler a few times to make sure that the clay is completely covered in epoxy. And here is the finished product. If you end up making your own 3D chocolate frog tumbler, feel free to tag me. I'd absolutely love to see what everyone makes. Thank you so much for watching.